All right, guys, welcome back. Going into hour number 2 here of RollPlay One Shots D&D 5.0. Adam, what's going on?
Well, you have an unconscious dwarf at your feet. You have two dead horses nearby. The halfling, Milo, is emerging from the bushes covered in blood.
And a goblin.
And you've been ambushed by pixies.
Okay. I I immediately catch the gaze of Milo and I just see him carrying a goblin. Is this goblin bigger than him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is really more dragging than carrying.
Slightly.
It's
slightly
more
bigger
dragging.
than
Okay.
Milo likes to think he's carrying it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just like, Milo, where were you? We needed you over here. But wait, why do you have a goblin on your back?
I shoot him a look and I say, "There's a second one in the brush over there, bub." And then I just like hike this goblin up into the cart, thump on top of all the stuff. I guess I'm sort of like shoving him like butt first up the side of the cart.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just like, my God, our friend has fallen, but I believe I was able to bring him back. He'll be out for a couple of hours, it seems, though. Can you help me hoist him into the wagon and leave that ugly corpse behind?
It's not a corpse. I have simply knocked him out. Let's bind him.
You haven't killed it yet?
Of course not. Our dear friend...
I like draw my weapon as he says that.
Basalt. Our dear friend Basalt asked us both to keep one for questioning, and so I have.
He goes, well, how long is it going to be out?
Oh, I don't really know. We should probably tie him up pretty quickly.
He goes, you see to that. I will make sure that Basalt makes it to the wagon. I go to pick him up and drag him over to the wagon.
Cool. I climb up into the wagon and like rummage through my pack. Do I need a skill to tie him up with like rope or stuff?
I mean, you can do it without having to roll anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he would make a dex check to try and get out. Why don't you make a dexterity check to tie the knot? Just give me a DC if he tries to escape.
I see a Neal.
Yeah,
no, I didn't want to jinx it by saying anything.
Neal's watercolor.
21.
Nice. Okay,
made
so
it
it's
to the technology age.
pretty rare chance that he'll be able to break
This
free.
goblin is never getting out.
Yeah, you've bound his very soul.
Okay.
Okay, so he's unconscious. He's tied up. Do you like hog tie him or just like tie his like wrist behind his leg?
Okay.
All right.
Do I have any issue carrying? I keep wanting to call you Basil, but
Basil.
Basalt to the wagon.
No. I mean, he's heavy because he's got armor on and stuff, and he's a dwarf. But
Sure.
No, you can.
As soon as I lay him down, yeah, I circle over to Sky Dancer, the horse, and calm him down to the best of my ability. And I have animal handling +3, so
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I
need to
think with
make a
a
roll.
with a +3, you don't even need to roll. He wasn't attacked, so he just kind of like calms down.
okay.
Looks around nervously. He wants to keep moving, but you've got extra cargo and.
Sure. Once I see to the horse and make sure that he's okay, I walk over to Milo and this goblin that he has tied up.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just look at Milo and be like, I've never interrogated anything before. How does this work?
I put my hand on his like hip, I guess. Like I reach up.
They're there, buddy.
And I'm like, don't worry, Gavin. You just let me take care of this. In fact, why don't you take the cart a little ways down the road?
I don't want you seeing this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just like,
I know you're a sensitive man.
are you sure? Will you be okay?
I like pull on one of the ropes and like, demonstrate how tightly this guy is hogtied. And I look at him again and I say, I think I'll be just fine.
Okay. If you are overcome by this ferocious beast, please call out, and I will be here in a moment's notice.
I say, Gavin, why don't we make a special signal? You and me, buddy. It can be a secret signal just for us. I'll make the sound of a whippoorwill. Do you know what a whippoorwill sounds like, Gavin?
Of course.
Excellent.
But can you please refresh my memory? Ah, yes. The lovely whippoorwill. Such a beautiful sound. And I start walking
Excellent.
towards the wagon.
Okay. All right. So, what are you going to do with your captive?
I sit on him until he wakes up.
Okay. He's out cold. He probably won't wake up for a while unless you throw water on him or like slap him.
God, do I have any water?
You can just shake him really hard.
Yeah, I lift up his head and just go crack. And
Okay.
slap him.
All right. So
And then I say, "Wake up!"
after a little shouting and a little slapping, your captive kind of like groggily comes to, and he's like horrible to be this close to. His breath is like smells like rotten meat. His teeth are all sharp and broken, and his eyes are bloodshot and yellow. And he wakes up and squints at you, and it says something in Goblin that you don't understand. Probably
I slap him and I say, "Speak English."
he says what?
Good. Now then, Pixie, you've attacked my friends for the last time. All of yours are dead, and soon maybe you will be too. But we can prolong this if you'd like.
What?
I need to know information, and you have it.
He squints at you. He says, "I eat bigger meals for breakfast than you. I dare you to try it." And you slap him in the face. All right.
I shit bigger meals than you for breakfast.
He looks at you again. What? He seems confused and a little punch drunk.
We get down to brass tacks, and I say, where are the men who were riding these horses?
Why don't you roll your intimidation skill, and I will resist with his mighty goblin will of -1.
I start like cleaning my fingernails with my short sword.
Okay.
I have a +3 in intimidation.
Okay, he's got a -1 to his wisdom.
That's
He's gonna make...
charisma.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
He grits his yellowed teeth and spits nearby, but he's lying on his face, so it kind of just like trickles down his chin.
Yeah.
And he looks at you and says something rude in Goblin again.
Yeah. And I say, like that, are we? Well, we'll see how a night in the brig suits you. And then I sort of look around and I just like grab him by the back of his hog tying and start dragging him down the road after my friends.
Okay. All right. So you're dragging this like he's getting dragged on his face, basically like bumping along the road. Okay. All right. So yeah, you drag him along, and you catch up with Gavin and
as you catch up to me, I'm sitting there practicing different poses for what I want to have made into a statue of me one day. So I'm doing kind of like this and like different. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Seeing what looks the best and kind of talking to myself. And I see you dragging this man or this pixie.
Yep.
I immediately stop and I'm kind of shocked at what I'm seeing, and I'm just like, Milo, what have you done to this poor soul?
He's being uncooperative.
Why did you bring him here?
He knows information that we need. If he's uncooperative tonight, maybe he'll be more cooperative tomorrow when we cook the bacon that's in my pack.
Does he understand? You can speak with him?
Yeah, he speaks English.
I guess put out my chest and walk very proudly over to this thing that he's dragging, and look and point to him, and I'm just like, "What is your name?"
He kind of twists his head sideways and looks up, and he's like, "Fuck you!"
I slap him, and then I say, "You listen to me, Pixie. These are my friends, Gavin and Basalt, and you and your friends nearly slew one of them. He still draws breath, which is the only reason you do. But if anything goes poorly with him, it will go even more poorly with you. Now talk."
Milo, to you, he says, "Shut up, fatty." And then he looks kind of as far up at Gavin as he can, and he says, "Nice boots. Your mother buy those for you?"
I just like tilt my head and kind of like almost grind my teeth a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Milo, please don't harm this poor soul. Let him no more hitting. Be kind. Perhaps he will come around. But please tie him up.
Should we toss him in the back of the cart?
As long as as long as he promises not to harm us or anything in the cart.
The cart's getting pretty full. It's got an unconscious, like fully armored dwarf, a bunch of supplies. Throwing another body in there is going to really slow the horse down.
Oh. I look down at the pixie and say, "Friend, once more, what is your name?" And you are on thin ice. We will simply just leave without you and leave you tied up on the road.
He he looks up at you. He's like, "You want to know my name? You can call me Daddy." And he spits at you.
He goes, "Great. Daddy, where do you come from? And why were you near the horses?"
He says, "I don't know anything about no horses."
He goes, "Clearly you saw the horses. And clearly you were near the horses. I believe you are lying to me, friend. I mean,
Okay.
Daddy. We shall use names. I am Gavin Ariat, and this is my friend Milo Tealeaf."
All right, so you want to try and play good cop with this little jerk?
Sure, yeah.
But my friends call me Teabaggins.
Why do they call you that? All right, so
I earned it on the streets.
why don't you roll? Is it like a diplomacy or like a persuasion? Why don't you roll persuasion for us, there, folk hero?
Oh god, I have a -1 to this.
All right.
And then
Do you want to?
what is the proficiency bonus thing? Is that only to the things that are marked?
Yeah, it gets added to all of the marked things for you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now you can try and narrate your way to getting advantage if you want. If you have something to offer him or want to like play nice, like untie him or do something to like show that you're not going to beat him up like this horrible halfling did.
I pull out something from the ration pack that's just food, and be like, "If you cooperate, this could be yours."
Okay, yeah.
And then
if you're bribing
I taste it and I just kind of like embellish. And I'm just like, the succulent meat is so tasty.
This is so dry, so very dry.
So salty.
All right. Yeah, so you can take I'll give you advantage on that for sure. So you can roll 2d20 and pick the best one.
2d20 -1 on both, or just 2d20?
Yeah, I mean you'll roll 2d20 and then whichever the best one, you'll subtract 1 from that.
And what
I'll
was
roll
the
for
rolling
percent.
that you used for that, Steven? It's
Ah.
2d20 K1 -1.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
No
That
spaces.
old Legend of the Five Rings dice mechanic action.
Okay, here we go.
All right, I'll let you roll.
10.
So 10. So he's got.
Oh, nice.
So he's really hungry. He
He resists with a 0. So as soon as food comes out, he starts apologizing. He's like, "Look, that stuff I said about your mother, it wasn't true. Your mother's a saint. Give me some food, please. Oh, please. I'm so hungry."
He goes, I turned towards Milo and I'm like, "I'm beginning to understand how this works." And I take out another piece of meat. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Now, Daddy, once again, why are those horses on the ground? This could be yours.
He says,
We just want information."
we killed the horses. See, we had to get the dwarf, right, and take him to the boss. We were left behind to keep an eye because they said you'd be coming. We were supposed to kill you too.
Who hired
Well,
you?
that didn't work, did it?
Milo, please be kind to Daddy.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, he glares at Milo and then looks back up at you with his like big goblin eyes. And he's like, "But the dwarf and the woman with him, they're both still alive. They're in the cave. I could show you if you just give me some food, please."
It was fantastic. And I put the food and like basically feed him because he's still tied.
I snatched the food out of his hand.
Milo!
Oh.
And I say, "Wait!"
So he looks at you, He looks at you, Milo, and he's like, "Hey, Butterball, give me that food. You don't need any more. Come on."
I'm hungry. I
Stop.
haven't had second breakfast.
You're gonna eat it.
I like make like I'm gonna eat it. I'm like,
He's like trying to reach it with his tongue, even though he's like way too. It's like,
yeah, I'm like close to him. And I turn to him and I say, "Now listen, maybe I had you wrong, Daddy-o, but just taking us to your friends, that's not enough. You see, we need to be sure that you're not gonna turn tail on us, turn us in."
squints at you. He's like, "You give me some food, I'll do whatever you want."
And I like beckon to
Is it gonna have a sidebar?
yeah, sidebar.
I don't
I
realize
say-
that you're like calling me over. I'm just like, yes, what is it?
It's like, Gavin, I need to talk to you in private.
Well, clearly our friend can hear whatever it is you have to say. We shouldn't keep secrets.
Gavin, I don't trust Daddy. I think there is a mommy nearby that he is going to lead us into a trap and then kill us and eat us because he is a hungry boy.
I kind of just like look around and I nod to you and I get down on eye level with the pixie. It's a pixie, right? I get down on
Yes.
eye level with the pixie.
It doesn't
and
have any wings, but yeah.
Okay. I get down on eye level and like, my friend has requested a conference with myself and him. I shall return. Then I like walk off.
Awesome. I think so. I think you're doing a really good job playing. You're using big words despite not knowing really what they mean. You totally sound smart. You can take. I don't know if there's a space on your sheet for marking it, but take inspiration.
Okay.
So it's you can spend it at any time to grant advantage on any roll, or if you want to transfer it to another character, if they're playing their beliefs and stuff, you can pass it to them. They're doing good role playing.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I walk over and just like, Milo, what is it?
We just step off a little way.
Yeah,
I'm gonna like place the food close to but out of reach, like solidly out of reach. You can't like shimmy over to it or anything.
All right, he's gonna try, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just like I beckon. I'm like, Neal, come down here.
Okay. Yeah,
Gavin.
I get down on one knee and I'm just like, yes, Milo.
Gavin, what the hell are we gonna do? This guy's gonna tell us where to go, and there's gonna be like 50 pixies there or something, and like maybe a bear, and then what? And what are we gonna do about that, Gavin? I don't know. Maybe we just follow him, and then we see what happens when we get there. What? I just don't trust him, Gavin.
This man has earned my trust. I believe he is now our friend.
Yeah, well, I'm just not really. I guess I'm just not like you, Gavin. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I'll let you take the lead on this one. What do you think?
I believe we should take our friend with us to wherever this cave is, and then perhaps tie him up and call out to his friends from inside. Clearly, they will reason with us.
Okay. You know what? That sounds fine. Let's do that.
Are you sure, Milo?
So, I say, yeah. I don't know. It'll be fine.
Well, we should
and then
wait.
I
We
just-
should wait for Mr. Rockseeker to come to before moving forward.
And then I just stop and I turn around and I said, you know what? We should wait for our cleric to wake up.
I just said
I
that,
think-
Milo.
I think that would be good.
It would be
That'd be a
good.
good idea.
It is the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to make camp and hang out, or because he's pretty out? It'll be a while. It'll definitely be dark by the time Basalt wakes up.
Yeah, I would
Or
say.
Yeah.
you can get in the cart and you can press on to Phandalin, but I don't know how well they would deal with you bringing a goblin to town with you.
I feel like we gotta go back for these guys.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would
Okay.
argue that Basalt's cousin was taken, and the pixie even admitted that. So that as soon as he wakes up, he's gonna want to go find him, especially after
Yep.
seeing his horses killed.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say we make camp of some sort.
Okay, so where are you gonna make camp? Like, I mean, you can't really like light a fire in the middle of the road.
Well, I have
do you wanna
I
try
have
and-
a 3+3 in survival, so couldn't I could?
Yes, you can find an adequate place.
Yeah, I searched
Sure.
for an adequate place. Plus, that's checked, so it's a +5, correct?
Nice. Yep. Go ahead and roll your survival there.
Okay. 11.
Okay. All right. So I mean, you find an okay place. It's not optimal, right? There's some exposure and there's lots of like brush to clear first. But in the process of looking for a safe place to make camp, you actually find a hidden trail that leads off towards some nearby hills. It's a ragged trail, very small, used just for foot traffic. It looks like things have been dragged along it. There's not a lot of just footprints. And it leads off to the northwest.
Okay. I guess once
And
we
it's
spot
been-
it, I call out to our newfound friend and I say, Is the cave you spoke about near here?
He's still tied up and like lying on his face. So he kind of like mumbles like, "Yeah, and not far, maybe an hour." And he kind of gestures with his head. It's that way.
Yeah, I go over and like help him stand up.
Okay, so you'll have to untie his legs because his legs and his hands are tied behind his back.
I go over and
He's
pick him
like
up
a-
and carry him.
You cut him under one arm.
Yeah.
Just pointing him around. Is it this way? That way?
I
Yeah.
go,
Alright.
one for you and one for me. One for you and
You're
one
handing it
for
to me or to the?
No, to the pixie.
Okay.
You're feeding him. All right.
We did make a deal.
Okay. So he looks at you for a second and he says, "Yeah, that's it. Keep eating. Make yourself nice and fat for when I skin and eat you."
I kind of like
I
tighten
say-
the grip and be like, no, that's no way to speak to a friend.
Like playing him like a bagpipe.
Yeah.
You just squeeze him.
I'm like scolding him as if he was a kid or something or a child of
Yeah.
mine.
That's not how this is gonna end, Pixie.
All right. So he says, Gavin. He says to you, he's like, it's up that way. There's a path. It's hidden by some bushes.
I say, typically, when do people leave and return to this cave?
He
A
says
routine, I believe, is what are the routines of this organization within
He
said
says,
cave?
he says we all live up there, so we come and go as the king demands. When Grohl says go, we go. When Grohl says stay, we stay. But Grohl's not around right now. He left, took the dwarf and his map. Clarg is in charge. Kind of looks like in awe of Clarg.
And then I sort of stop and like scratch my head a little bit and I say, King, who are you guys working for somebody?
He says, King Grohl, chief of the Cragmaw, mightiest of us.
And the Kragmaw is you.
No, yes.
Okay. You don't have any dealings with a town nearby here, do you?
Dealings? What do you mean dealings? Do I look like a merchant to you? Shut up.
Anybody paying you anything? Anybody feeding you anything, maybe?
He's like, the only person feeding me right now is you. And he opens his mouth like, ah.
And I stick a piece of jerky almost in his mouth and then whip it out and put it in my
He
mouth.
tries to bite your hand.
When he goes to bite his hand, I like take my other hand and like push his jaw up so that its mouth is shut. Just like Milo, we need to make camp. We shall. Perhaps you should go and scout out this cave to make sure no one's going to wander by, and I'll keep our friend company.
No, I don't really think I should go scout the cave. I mean, that sounds kind of dangerous. It doesn't sound like the kind of thing I would do.
I'm just I look at him kind of with a puzzled look, and I'm just like, it's only dangerous if you're caught, Milo.
It's really far.
I say, well, if you stay at camp, what will you be doing? You've already given away more than a day's rations.
It's dinner time. I'm
After all
hungry,
of the
Gavin.
food I kind of
stomach-
I stop talking and I'm just kind of like tilting my head.
My stomach makes a poignant.
And he goes, fair enough. Well, we need to make camp. We need basalt.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right.
Someone should make camp.
Gavin's got it under control. So for resting, you have two options, one of which seems to me to be the obvious choice, but I'll describe them both just so you know. If you take a short rest, a period of at least an hour, doing nothing more strenuous than eating, drinking, reading, tending to your wounds, you can expend your hit points to recover, or expend your hit dice to recover hit points. But if you have extended time, if you have at least 8 hours to do that same stuff, you can regain all your lost hit points and any spent hit dice that you've already used. So it seems to me like the long rest is what you're going to do, right? You guys are going to hang out.
I mean, we're going to have to
wait
wait
for the
4
wake up.
hours. Yeah.
Where does
Alright.
it say hit dice on your character sheet?
It's under your current and temporary hit points next to your death saves.
Underneath, yeah.
So it
underneath
just says
armor class.
1d8. Okay.
Yeah.
So does that mean I have 1d8 hit dice, or my hit dice total to be 1d8?
You have
So
one hit dice, and your hit
they-
dice is a D8.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they use the same number to measure both how many total hit dice you've accumulated and then how many you roll when you have available to roll every time you take a short rest. So you kind of spend them. Okay, so everybody gets the benefits of a long rest. You'll get all your hit points back. Basalt, you wake up after a time and spend some time recuperating at the camp.